Splash Learn from Splash Math. So some of your redesign exercises, I hope it will help me. It will be useful for me.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Awesome, awesome. Great to have you.
Let's wait for another 5 minutes and then we should start. What do you say?
I think we can probably go ahead. I think Saiba also just said that you can probably start. People might be joining quite late. So let's do not waste time anymore. I think we're all like 15 minutes in. So I'll just like have a quick intro about HelloMeets. This is what we do. We bring experts, startups, and professionals together, and you guys can just like share knowledge, grow together, and this is what we're all about. Also, we have a lot of casual meetups coming up ahead very soon. Do tune in, and in case you're not a part of our community yet, please do join. Just like drop me a text, say hi, and you're in. So that's all you need. And we have Kishore Khavre with us, who's previously worked with Freshworks. He's also worked with Snapdeal and Airtel. Currently, he's at ServiceNow. And I think I'm giving the floor to him. We'll start, I think, right about now. Sure, Kishore.
Sure. Hey, thanks. So I'll just briefly introduce myself. Especially the spelling. My name is Kishore Khavre. And it's been 15 years in the design business. I've been into different roles. I started in 2005. In fact, even before that, I was, when I was still graduating in my second year, someone kind of, so I attended, I was like, I met a guy who was doing some flash animations, and I was really excited to see, what the way things get animated, and then that is how I landed up in this, job as a designer. From that fascination, I started doing flash animation and logos and all actually, and eventually explored more about it. I didn't know about those design schools, to tell you frankly, so I've never been to a design school to learn things. But yeah, with time I learned and evolved myself. It's been 15 years, as I said. Worked in different roles, starting from a company called Tangents, wherein it was a Bay Area startup, which had a back office in Noida. And it was a night shift job, so I could continue my studies in day and do the designing job at night. In that company, I worked for 5 years, and then in different roles, from starting as a designer to product manager, and then eventually I was a single point of contact for all the projects. Actually, not only design, other services which that company used to provide. Then I started my own as well. Didn't work out. Then I worked with a company called DirectEye. So it has got a product called Flock, which is a very much a competitor to Slack. So in similar sort of business, and more, a lot more chat applications there, and communication products there. Then moved to Snapdeal, worked on the rebranding and wearable devices and iPad stuff. Then kind of joined Airtel, wherein life was very different there. I was the first designer they hired actually, and I was part of the marketing team actually. So designer being part of the marketing team, that was pretty exciting, and interesting sort of thought process, the way they used to function. But yeah, a lot of data to learn about the way they function was completely different. Everything you do, or everything you everything coming from a designer had to be validated in terms of revenue and data, which was very, very change from my previous roles. And then I went to from Gurgaon to Chennai, a different place altogether. Seas all around you, and a lot of mosquitoes as well. So anyway, but yeah, it was a really exciting and learning experience there, designing the Freshdesk bot platform. I mean, something which I never, because mostly my experience came from consumer product. This was a very much enterprise product, except for Flock, if you call it enterprise. It is anyway. But this was a very AI driven communication tool, bots and all. Actually learned a lot there, and really transformed their product as well. And now I am a part of ServiceNow, wherein I am working on their security and risk product, part of SecOps, SecOps division. So wherein I create product for security analysts. So what happens? So let's say you got phished, you got an email, a phishing email, you clicked on that phishing email, and the virus gets downloaded on your system or your laptop or computer. So and then you will be raising a request for that, right? That you have been phished, and someone will go about investigating the issue, and then solve your, remove the virus and solve your issue. So I'm currently in a, in a process of designing that experience. There is something already in place, and then we are transforming that experience as well. But yeah, I'm not going to share that part because still is in process. But yeah, for the previous work I've done, there is substantial work, and which can help you understand how, at different places I help them redesign their existing product, and the life journey of that. So anyway, let's start with this reviving traction and customer attention by redesigning product. Originally, the term I gave to Sahiba was, how to redesign your product, your existing product. But then she came up with very exciting sort of, tagline: reviving traction and customer attention
That
by
was actually my
redesigning the
suggestion,
products.
though.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for this exciting
Yeah,
header.
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the subject. Go
So
ahead.
the question is, why do you need a redesign? And feel free to have your questions ready. So maybe by end of that, I mean, generally what happens, a lot of people send out their questions beforehand. I did not got a question this time because last couple of times, which when I, was speaking on behalf of Hello Meets, I got questions beforehand. This time I did not. So if you have any questions, or any questions even in throughout the presentation, you can keep your question, note down your question, and that can be addressed by end of the presentation. Am I audible? Okay, sure. So the question was, why do we need redesign? So the basic, question is, yeah, why do we need redesign? There could be different factors. Primarily, the factor is that you are expanding into a new market. So let's say you are serving a particular business, and then you want to make addition to your existing business. So that could be one factor. Maybe you were serving to a niche audience earlier, and you want to transform that business to a mass market audience, business. That could be the thing. Maybe you are serving a particular country. You are, expanding yourself to a new vertical or new country. That could be the case. uh, Customer feedback and insights. So maybe you got some feedback from your existing customers which are using your product, and based on the insights, right, you would want to revamp your existing design. Maybe the existing design which you have in place may not suffice their purpose. It may not be engaging for them. Maybe the experience, that, the result they, or the traction, right, the 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 reason for why this product exists, maybe they are not able to achieve that desired result out of this particular product. They can be, usable, a lot of other problems. So, and you got a feedback from your clients that, or customers, that you may need a which lets you redesign this particular product. Third could be visually unifying, existing products. So I mean, yeah, so you have got different products exist. You have come up with a different product. You had a different product in the past, and then you are designing a new product, or you have got multiple products running, and then they are not visually unified. Okay, or not, they're not telling you your visual, your company's language, the brand language. So maybe you want to unify that particular product, and there are a lot of other factors as well. We will talk about that in, detail in further slides. Designing declining business performance. So maybe your business is not, doing well, and which may require a redesign. Technology impact, so technology has been changes every 3 months, every 6 months. I mean, you had a product which was maybe doing well earlier. You may want to consider the redesigning the product because technology has changed. And again, there are a lot of other impacts of technology, which again we will address later in the presentation. Then there are like new government regulations. So these are COVID times, right? And you want to, so the way the business functions has changed. So maybe you want to add on new features or new experience based on the government regulations, and then so that you can be with the norms of the changing regulations. Let's go to the one of the so let's get into the detail of each reason. So expansion into the new market, right? So what you could do actually if you want to redesign, you have to understand the trends, analyze the existing competitions in the domain, generate initial product concepts. Maybe your persona has changed. I haven't added that particular items here. So maybe the persona has changed, and also persona gets involved even in the use of an existing product. Your persona evolves. I will try to address this particular part of persona in one of the case studies for Airtel, wherein the persona involved. So I mean, initially I was designing Airtel for a, let's say for a aspirational people, someone who lives in a small town, because expansion had to happen. Airtel was very much happy to be in the postpaid domain, but for the prepaid domain there is existing customers which came in, like free charge, Paytm, etc., which were trying to revolutionize the entire telco industry and the way people go about operating with the recharging their prepaid numbers. So who would be the right persona for that? So for a postpaid business, the persona is different. So initially when a new technology is introduced, right? So if you say the curves, right? So those technology adopters take that opportunity. Hello, someone is asking some question.
No, no, I think we've. Hi, Rahul. Thank you for joining. I think, yeah, he's muted. Awesome. We'll do a mid meetup introduction
Okay,
round
I
again.
thought someone was asking a question.
No, no, no. It's cool. It's cool.
Sure. Before the case study, I'll take a pause, and then we can go. So these are the initial slides, and then post the in slides before the case study starts. I will take a pause, and then we can introduce ourselves again. All
Awesome.
right. Sure. So yeah. So as I said, the persona evolves as well with time. So maybe you want to update the persona, and if the persona evolves, then your design has to also evolve accordingly. And for that, the great idea is to generate new concepts, test out with the folks which you think are the are your new personas, and then collect feedback and incorporate those feedback into your existing design, and then develop that into a new feature or new flow. Customer feedback, right? So how do you take a customer feedback? And then again, that is what is it. So there is a predefined set of heuristic evaluation based on which you evaluate your existing products. You go out and get a expert reviews done. Customer executives. So I mean, yeah. So your customer, facing executives, they hear a lot of feedback from your customers. A lot of customers raise a lot of concerns, which gets to the customer executives in terms of tickets, in terms of feedbacks and all actually. So cover those feedback as well. feedback from selling points and stores. So I mean, let's say you have a physical store. I'm talking about a case in a at a Airtel, right? So I went to the lot of Airtel stores and try to collect the feedback from the store managers as well, and then those people who address client, user concerns, customer concerns. So that could also be one of the way you could collect the feedback. Collect the feedback from the App Store and Play Store as well. So a lot of people post their comment on App Store, Play Store, social media, websites, Twitter, Facebook, etc. So collect the feedback from there. Track the help section. So I mean, a lot of people, if you have a help section or FAQ section on your website or a app, or whatever product you have, try looking into, what are the maximum number of clicks are on which FAQ on your website, what kind of service requests they address, or what kind of questionnaires they post on your website. So track that as well. That will give you a lot of context of what the existing pains they have in place, and and then maybe if you have got their emails or phone numbers, try to reach out them and try to get a feedback from them as well about what was the reason of let's say they're not transacting on the website, or their issues. Tag the service requests, right? I mean, a lot of people reach out to you post the comment on your website or on the app, or to the customer executives as well, and try to reach out to them and figure out what are the number of service requests, which part of your product has got more of a service request, and try to address those particular challenges, and try to solve them. uh, Send out surveys to those people who post post the questions or challenges on your website or selling points, and take a survey out of, if you have got a store, try to give out surveys to the customers, and they will tell you what kind of challenges they're facing. Address focus group discussions. So I have done that actually in the past, wherein we try to arrange focus group discussions. It's not very helpful way of collecting feedback, because what happens, a lot of people are talkative, and dominate those discussions, and a lot of people may not be that much talkative, and feel I mean, feel dominated, so they may not speak out well. But yeah, but anyway, that's also a way of getting the feedback from the customers or people. Do if you can do guerrilla interviews or contextual inquiries, and try to get a lot of feedback from, or the way they operate, right? The way user operate in their work environment with this particular product. Try to evaluate, understand their challenges. We'll talk a lot about it. Or you could also be a guerrilla interview if contextual inquiry is not possible, and understand, track the existing journey map, right? So there are two things, a combination of a heuristic evaluation and combination of all those things, in fact. Create a journey map of, how your product's journey. So let's say, take a use case of, discovering the features, or discovering what you're selling, and how people are onboarded on this product, or discover the challenge of, of the traction. So create a journey map of each. Figure out what are, at every point, what kind of behavior user explicit, or express on a particular part of your product, or particular screen of the product. And then create a mood board, right? If they're relatively happier, or literally become sad, or have a frustration at certain point of the journey, and try to solve, those challenges. So this could be, another way you could get a feedback from customers, and then work on that. Visually in unifying the product. Okay, so there could be understand how the user onboard and discover other features and the transaction, because these are the most important part of the product. So what happens, I mean, so how, when, talking about the second point, how do you sell? So there could be product to product, platform to product, product to platform, and split products. This is, you know, to explain that. So what happens, uh, a lot of companies, they create a platform, and all the product they sell are aligned to the platform. So you can start you can land on this platform. So as you said, the first point, uh, the way user onboard on your product. Okay, so it could be different products. So I'm selling individual product, and they have no links to each other. That could be one of the way people buy my product. So I sell individual product to to a different different for different use cases of different people or companies. Or uh, I have a single platform wherein user on board, and then maybe they have come for one particular product, but then they explore other products also which I sell, and then they keep on subscribing or buying those particular product or downloading those product, for example. There is a product to platform as well. So what happens, I talked about the split products, right? So I have a one particular product in place which is the most sellable product, but then I have added integration of all other products which I sell. Okay, so let's say one of the product is sold more, maybe because that is what people know about this particular company. But then when they come on this particular product, they explore the other capabilities I have in place, and how would I sell those other products as well to this particular person or this particular company. So integrations of those product or a discovery of those product has to be there. Yeah, so that can be handled this through platform to product or product to platform, or a split product approach. uh, and then based on these two factors, you can have a unified design language or a design system, because the design system is a very much a very popular sort of thing term used in the industry right now, because everyone is like trying to create a unified experience. Since Google came with the material design guideline, everyone started adopting their design guideline. And then what happened, every product looks like the Google a material design guideline product. But then a transformation started happening in this area as well, then when, because every part, since every product started looking like same, every company started to rethink about it, and then they started coming up with their own brand language or design language. For that, they started creating their own design system. And the process of design system are generally, you kind of create a UI inventory of all the components, go and then get organization buy-in. So you can involve all the stakeholders in different departments, and then sort of create different components which is required to different product and departments, and then get a agreement on that actually. And then yeah, so build a multidisciplinary design system team which consists of the developers, designers, product managers, some sales guys as well, which can help you understand different challenges, establish rules and principles of the design system, build the color typography and iconography language, because that's how your brand will communicate to your customers. And then for the implementation, so then sprint for feedback and sort of improvement, so that how could you keep on improving. A lot of you may not primarily create all components, but yeah, based on feedback from different departments and different teams, you'll keep on improving on your design patterns. uh, Designing business performances. Yeah, this is like very simple and straightforward things, right? How do you uh, uh, how you establish the in the expectation. What are the hold on. So what are your KPIs? Establish the KPIs as of now, and if it already established, so track their performance as well. So maybe you track the revenue, track the performance of traction usage, and via analytics too. So it could be page load time, unique visitor, start render time, bounce rate, direct traffic, request per second, throughput, error rate, peak response time, and landing page conversions as well. You want to, let's say, if you see that the number of downloads is the key performance indicator for your business, then evaluate, keep on tracking the downloads, the number of downloads which has been, let's say, for your product. Track the rating of your experience on the App Store, on Play Store, etc. Analyze the financial situation and inflation, of the area as well. So what happens, I mean, these are the things you can do on the product. But let's say there are a lot of factors which has nothing to do with your product. Okay, so maybe in COVID time, right? People are not having, are losing the job, and you're not doing well actually. But that's not your mistake. That's not your product's mistake. There is something else on your buyer side. So you have to understand, the financial, situation of the country as well, or a particular area as well, and the way, inflation is there in that country or area, and how do user behave, behave to those situations. Technology impact, as I said, right? Technology has changed a lot. Initially, it was a website. People used to, I mean, physical stores. Then came a digital presence, which through websites and apps. And then even even in those things, those platforms, the technology changed. I mean, initially people used to just code HTML and create the website. JavaScript enhanced the capability. jQuery added a lot of features to that. Node.js evolved that jQuery thing. AngularJS transformed the entire industry, and now Ember is a new platform where every company is want to be on Ember, because it has got much more AI ML driven capabilities, which HTML didn't had actually to start with. So yeah, with time and all, things has changed. I mean, it was a physical store to a website, to mobile app, and now things have changed. I mean, we are talking about augmented reality and virtual reality. We're talking about artificial intelligence and machine learning. We're talking about Internet of Things, cloud integration, and cybersecurity and awareness. In terms of the way you used to onboard on a platform, right? You used to kind of download and enter the manual, initially it was username and password, and you always used to forget the password, and then you used to generate the password. Now then it became the manual OTP entry. Later on it became auto SMS verification. Now it is autofill OTP. And then with the introduction of JavaSim, I mean, especially at Airtel, you don't have to, if you're on an Airtel network and not on Wi-Fi, you don't need to even go through OTP verification process, because through JavaSims we can read your SMS and you will be auto onboarded on Airtel app. So that's just a impact actually on how technology has impacted the onboarding or your experience on a particular platform. So as I said, right, manual OTP entry to Java Sims, wherein just have to tap on a button and you are onboarded on the system, which was not earlier possible. Again, as I was talking about new government rules and regulations, operation of business in COVID times, change in business laws, as per the regulation of the government or country, and then it also lets you change the way you operate, right? So earlier there were a lot of physical stores open. Now everything is happening on on online actually. So you have got a Dunzos and Swiggy bots available, wherein you have to like send our stuff to someone else, you can use those platform to interact with the to do your job done. Taxation policies accordingly changes the way you kind of operate in the system in the country. Uh, then again, these are the first part of the presentation. Now we'll go to the setting of expectation and talk about ROIs and all actually. So it is very important, right, that you set the expectation of what do you expect from this redesign. Okay, so they're like major stakeholder which would tell you this is what I want. So primarily you want revenue, you want number of downloads, you want to look, you want to just change that look and feel, you want more content to be to be accommodated on your platform, on your design. I mean, you want to increase the usage of your app or a website, or you want to increase the rating on App Store. That is also one of the thing. So very important to address those particular expectations upfront. Frequency of return, I mean, you want to, I mean, additional, apart from this, these are like secondary things which are should be considered. So I mean, you want to you want your user to return every now and then. You want to drop the number of churns, ease of use and perceived usability. I mean, there are a lot of products, right? So if we talk about let's say Zomato, okay, and there is a new product coming in actually. So someone would think Zomato has got very much ease of, it can be of ease of use, but then Swiggy came in place, and then someone started claiming that Swiggy is much more much has got much more ease of use compared to Zomato. So I mean, yeah, so perceived usability or ease of use can be also set as expectations. Time to complete the desired task. I mean, if you are expected to complete the desired task in, let's say, 1 minute, if someone is taking a lot more than that, we have to rethink of what is the reason people are spending more time on this particular screen than expected, and try to address those challenges which user is expected to do, and make it more make it more upfront maybe. So let's say something is more important but is not shown upfront on the screen, and user has to scroll a lot more to figure out that particular part. So maybe you would want to put it at the top of the screen so that it is upfront visible to the screen, so that user can interact easily with the system. I mean, yeah, so you want to increase the number of orders, order value, cart value, etc. That's also happens in the e-commerce industry mostly. Customer support tickets and complaints, right? So I mean, you want to decrease the number of customer support tickets or complaints. You have got more agents sitting on in your call centers and support centers, so that I mean, that's the cost for you actually. So maybe you want to reduce that cost. So you have to rethink of how what kind of challenges they are coming up with, and try to solve those through your redesign of your platform or your app or your product. And the number of trainings required to to train your users or your internal resources as well. If you really requires a lot of training, maybe you would want to consider a redesign of the product. And then validating the solutions. There are a lot of things and a lot of processes how you could validate the solutions. But yeah, primarily, I mean, as I was talking about, even if setting of expectations was one of the cases where you through analytics tool, you can just say, yeah, this is the current performance indicators, and what your desired result, what is what you desire your product to to achieve. So based on the initial parameters which you set, you would want to go back to the analytics tool and again see how it has improved post redesign. And then you do the A/B testing and see what kind of approach your user would like to have. I mean, there are a lot of A/B testing tools available. I mean, just naming a few: Adobe Target, Google Experiments, Optimizely, Mixed panel, qubit. I mean, these are like most popular A/B testing tools. I mean, so for the A/B testing tool, what you do is you create different variations of that of the design. So the two phases you can validate the design. They're like your peer feedback. So you are you want to get a feedback from your peer or your stakeholder in the company, and then there could be you can come up with a couple of solutions. So maybe two solutions. That's what A/B testing is about. Always testing two things, and then you kind of release that out to a certain set of users, and then get a feedback on that, and then validate your solutions. Whatever if the traction was more a percentage traction. So what happens, it's never 20-20, sorry, 50-50. You always would want to let's say for option one, which is like, let's say your preferred option, you would want to set 70-80% to that to your user, and then 20% to the another design option. And based on the percentage sort of feedback, you can go ahead and make more iterations, and then take a decision of what is better. Validating your solution through your usability testing. I mean, yeah, scenarios and task evaluation, likes and dislikes, goals, what they are expected to achieve, what kind of what you are trying to do, what issues you are facing, and impact. How does this affect your sort of business? So these are the few things based on which the usability testing happens. And mostly, I mean, like 5 E's of it: effective, efficient, engaging, error tolerant, and how easy to use this particular solution is. So based on this particular 5 parameters, generally user testings are done. And then you go and track the revenues and ratings of, sorry, reviews and ratings of the solutions which you have in the market. Get a survey NPS done, like it's it different. I mean, generally for the consumer product, actually it's mostly app store rating and all, actually. And then you have also got the NPS on your platform incorporated. For generally enterprise, these are like these are like it state, they have got 7-star service rating. So based on that, evaluation happens. And yeah, this is how it is. And then you go to the app store rating and track the feedback from the end customer post your design launch. And then track and understand what kind of feedback you're getting, actually. Go to the customer executives and track their feedback on it has the number of issues which were addressed earlier, have they increased with time or not. So that will help you understand, yeah, if your design solution was helpful or not. Go to selling point, again address this particular point to them and try to get their feedback as well. Or again, try to do a focus group discussion with the users. Yeah, so this is what it is, actually. And then do the guerrilla research, uh, and figure out, I mean, go to the people. So I mean, in my case at Airtel, when I redesigned the product, I used to go to my blue collar employees in the organization, because it was a recharge flow and we were targeting aspirational users in that case. So I was going to the support staff in the organization, or let's say security guards, and try to see if they can interact with the system and can achieve the desired result or not. So based on their feedback, I have modified a lot of my lot of my flows. Similarly, in enterprise, reaching out to a customer is not easy, but yeah, your PMs, actually, or pre-sales guys, are the proxy customers. Okay, so it will be very helpful if you go and reach out to them. They can really give you a lot of important feedback for to start from, to incorporate. I mean, validate your solutions, and then understand if there are gaps or not in the design. I mean, go and then if you have already implemented this design, go and check the help section of your website and track what kind of feedback or issues users are facing. Again, yeah, the Play Store, App Store feedback I already addressed. And then there are like a lot of people sort of address service requests as well. So track the service request as well. A lot of people sort of come out with a service request, track the number of service requests. Have they decreased with your redesign or not? Yeah, so this is what the initial part is all about. Now we'll go to the case study part. Any questions so far? Hello. Hello, am I audible?
Yep.
Yeah, it is. Oh, someone said that it's Ember. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, it is Ember. EMBER.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, that's a spelling mistake. I mean, I apologize. I made that presentation last night. So while completing my work, so it was done at 2. So that's a spelling mistake. All right. I mean, the new entries, right? I mean, if you could introduce yourself, I mean, that is what we committed, right? That in middle of the presentation, we will introduce ourselves.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I hope
Yes,
you can
yes,
hear
go
me.
ahead.
My name is
Yes, I
Rahul.
can.
I am currently a UX designer, so I am currently working in a company in Bangalore. So I've been into
You're
designing
not
for.
quite audible, sir.
How about now?
You're not quite audible.
Hello.
Yeah, now you are slightly better.
Yeah. I just unplugged and plugged in the headphone. Uh, So I was saying that I am actually a UX designer. I have been working in a company in Bangalore from January, and also I have past experience of around 4 years into design. I started with graphic design, then UI, and then again into UX. So in meantime, I completed actually 2 courses regarding the UX design also, and that's all about from me from my side also. Hello.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're not quite audible. I couldn't clearly understand.
There is some problem with my audio.
Yeah,
Oh,
seems like.
oh,
Anyway, we can switch to another user as well.
no problem. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Rajendra. People call me Raj. So,
Hey, Rajendra.
so I'm a tech entrepreneur. So I've been CTO for many companies. So right now I just started with my new startup that is aimed at helping early stage entrepreneurs. Right. So I just started the journey. So
Okay.
Hello Meets has always been good because people share their experiences and case studies, which is always interesting for me because I'm helping entrepreneurs. So this is something that I can learn a lot from this. So thanks a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, hope it helps actually. So once we go to the case study section, it is going to be super helpful. I mean, super useful to you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, maybe we have one more, right? Hari Manjunath, I guess. Hey, you're on mute, I guess. Hari, you are on mute here.
Oh, I had introduced myself in the beginning.
Oh, you did? Oh, sorry. Sorry. Yeah, sure.
That's fine.
Okay. Give me a moment. I'll just take a bio break, and then come back in a moment?
Sure.
Okay.
Has everybody gotten a chance to introduce themselves? Anybody who hasn't can probably share things about themselves. It's okay. All right then. Awesome, awesome. Hi, Rahul. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, I'm back.
Awesome. Hi.
Oh, do we have a new addition as well? I mean,
No, they didn't get a chance to introduce themselves. I think
yes.
anybody who doesn't, I'll just open the floor to them. So
Uh,
Rahul,
yeah.
I think you can continue forward. I think.
Sure. We already had an introduction quickly, actually, and then I went to a bio break.
Oh, cool, cool, cool. Awesome, awesome.
Okay. Sure. So continue with the case study part. So I will, so I'll start with the Airtel app thing. So maybe I should start with the onboarding flow first. Okay. So I'll talk about the onboarding flow of Airtel app. Okay. And what kind of challenges we faced and how we overcome those challenges. So when I joined, I mean, this is how the Airtel app used to look like. I'm talking about April 2015. In April 2015, this is how the app onboarding screen used to look like. So what happened? So challenges with this particular, issue was that the messaging was not clear. People doubt if they enter the. So what happened? People used to also enter the 9-1. Okay, and it was not clear that from the country code if they have to enter the country code as well or not, because though it says 10-digit mobile number, but then people used to also enter the the country code, and then yeah, and then the manual OTP entry process. So user would kill the app, and so what happens? In many times, what happens? People when they enter the OTP, the app also used to get killed, and a lot of people were in who didn't subscribe to SMS. That was again a challenge there. That OTP never used to come to them actually. So and with time, how we improved on these parts, I'll take you through that as well. So user would tap on the disable text, assuming that the number would change. So there was this disable. So once you enter the number, it will show you a text field sort of thing, and then people would tap on the disable text field and would want to change the number and all actually. So that was a issue there. Uh, Try to, and then number of conversion, right? So it was a very bad, the way the conversion happens. This through this flow, the conversion was 22%, which was really bad. We wanted, so it was we were in a process of redesigning the entire app. However, what happened? We had to release things in a month basis. That is because that was the process at Airtel. So, we can't create and develop the entire app in a month's time. So we worked, in a phase wise. So parallelly, we could also work on a redesign of our app. And in the meantime, we were working on the part wherein, we could do small bit, changes which can be released in a month cycle and modify the experience of the app as well. So with 22%, this is the relatively a newer design which we did in a month's time. Wherein what we did, we had this plus 9.1 because Airtel was very much specific to India. Okay, so we had 9.1 beforehand, and this in this text field you can enter your name, your number, and then communication, right? I mean, as you said, here other communication says that enter your 10-digit mobile number. It doesn't tell you there is a verification number. So let's start verifying your 10-digit mobile number is a communication change I did. And then when you see here, right? So it didn't say that OTP was sent to you. So in the OTP screen, we started saying that verification code was sent to your number, and you always had an option to edit. Versus here, there was no step to until you physically click on the back button, you can't go to this back page. So that was the change we made. Is here you have an option to click and edit the number. So if you click here, it will take you to this particular page with the number pre-filled, and you can modify your number and again click on continue to come back to this page. And then we had this auto verification of SMS OTPs implemented. So it could also communicate that detecting your SMS. So every state, right, waiting for the SMS, SMS detected, taking taking you onboarded. So all those things we started communicating there actually. So all these things improved the experience of onboarding, and from 22% is changed to 78%. There were a lot of people who were not subscribed to SMS. They still had challenge onboarding. So yeah, but later on we improved on that part as well. Then we introduced this two SIM functionality, wherein if you have a two SIM, how the flow could be. And then what Airtel did is they did also introduce a new Java SIM. So what happens if you are in mobile data, we will automatically read your mobile number. We will automatically read your account details from Google account, and then all you have to do is you'll get to see this particular splash screen, so this onboarding screen. And if you want to upgrade to payments bank, with the introduction to payment bank as well, we change the entire flow. And if you click on this, if you have a two SIM mobile phone, all you will get to see this particular screen. But if you don't, then all you have to click on this continue and you will be onboarded. However, if you have a dual SIM phone, then you can click on any of the SIM you want to onboard yourself with, and click on next, and you will be on the app. It's cutting short the entire onboarding process. Even if you don't have a SMS subscribed to it, to your plan, especially in the postpaid, you can be on the app very easily compared to the challenges you were facing earlier. Yeah. So yeah. And in case of verifying OTP, so in case you were not on mobile data, if you are on Wi-Fi, then you get to this particular screen wherein you have to manually enter the mobile number, and as soon as you enter the mobile number, it will auto verify your OTP. The introduction of this particular, because this QWERTY keypad, right, on the mobile has a lot of issues actually. So what we did is we learned that people have a lot of issues entering the mobile, the OTP as well, in case the OTP doesn't auto verify themselves. So we introduced this manual keypad on the interface, which can help you onboard on screen. Yeah, that is one thing. Then let's go to the original, original Mytel app particular flow. So this, you had a question on that particular flow?
So I was just asking, you said API issues were there, right, for the SMS verification. So I was just asking, what API did you use? Are you aware of what API you did use? And then did you change the API to some other provider?
I don't recall it actually now. I mean,
Okay. Okay.
and I mean, yeah, it will be very unfair for me to kind of answer that, but because A, I don't recall it now, and then B, I didn't ask that question of what API changes because I mean, I was the designer. If someone says that API has changed, yeah. So because of API issue, I know why onboarding hasn't happened, but I didn't ask that question to a developer that what API he has changed.
Yeah, so we've gone through the same issues in one of the companies that I worked for. So I was just thinking, what were you using and all? What did you improve it?
No, I mean, yeah, I was not as accomplished as of now. I mean, a lot of information about API has changed. No, I learned a lot about API and all actually configuration later in my career. Okay, so in my past company, which was a enterprise company at Freshworks. So because I can configure the entire API flow, how API is configured, I learned a lot about API then. But at ITL, I was not. I was not informed out. Yeah, I know what API was, but the technicalities of API, to tell you frankly, I didn't knew then, and I never questioned those things. But yeah, because I knew what was the challenge there, why it was happening, but what kind of changes happened on the development side, I didn't ask those questions. Any more question? Hello, you said something.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, you could. It is a lack of information as a designer, right? With time you evolve, right? So I was not evolved that then in terms of technicalities of an interface development. All right, so let's go to the MyITEL homepage.
So then what we did was we eliminated API, mobile number OTP completely. We did hash-based mechanism and we completely removed it because whatever provider we were using, we were having trouble with the SMS on peak times. So we kind of did some technology innovation there. But yeah, this is a big problem going with OTP.
Yeah, to tell you frankly, I didn't know about it until you asked me. I maybe in future. I mean, that's why I organize these sessions, right? Because it's not only I helping others learn. I also help, because the kind of questions you asked, I also learn. You asked that question, then maybe that's a trigger point for me to learn new things, right? I mean, so if you ask this question, maybe I'll next time if there's an API change or something, happens on the development side, I will try to investigate and learn. But I mean, generally in companies, developer doesn't, tell a designer deliberately that what kind of changes technically they are doing.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. So anyway, let's go to the home page. So as I said, this was a initial stage of technology startup transformation in India, 2014-15, and this is how Airtel app used to look like initially. The challenge of with this particular this particular design was that and in fact, as I said, we were trying to redesign the entire interface. It was an Android app, and it had a very much a look of an iOS app, with this bar at the bottom. But yeah, anyway, so that was another question. But yeah, the challenge with this particular design was that we wanted to users to click on the offers, and then I mean, increase the traction of the offer. Also, what was there, because all those people, right, who had the Airtel app, they knew how to interact with that. Okay, and mostly people would interact, recharge their number or pay their bill once in a month. In case they have to recharge a number, They will do maybe twice or thrice in a month, depending upon the use cases. But people are mostly set, they recharge their mobiles once in a month. But what I used to happen, they used to recharge for other people as well. So let's say someone who's a friend of mine would ask me, because he doesn't have to there at that point in time. Still, people used to had a habit of going to the retail shop and do the recharge, and or use the Paytm and all actually later anyway. But still, the practice of going to a retail shop was very much present there, available there then that point in time, and company was paying a lot to those retail shop as a commission, and also to platforms like Freecharge and Paytm. So because of that, what happened, we wanted to increase the traction of the app, and then those people who were going to the retail shop, those were aspirational mobile users. There's a hike in the usage of the smartphone smartphones, and a lot of India was adopting to a smartphone even in the villages. But then we wanted to catch that particular transformation, and then also teach or reach out to those people, aspirational user, so that they can interact on the ITEL app. So yeah, so from offers from 6%. So what are we? So yeah, as I said, the offer traction was 6%. The reason of that was, if you see here, there is an exclusive offer, and there is a get best offer for you. The challenge is that is the renew, which is the offer, because from the communication, if you see, both functions has offer, looks like offer, but this was a notification. That is how they used to show the notifications at the top of the screen. So people generally used to click on here and not on here. Okay, so and then they were used to interact, and then they figured out that this is a notification and not an offer. That was the understanding from what I learned from the interviews. The recharge any number, which I said, right? People used to recharge for their colleagues, their friends in college and other places, at work. And so tracking, figuring out that recharge any number was very hard. Versus, if you recall the initial Paytm design, because I did a lot of research then, it was 3 tabs. So if you want to recharge for yourself, or pay the recharge, pay bill, or recharge any number, was three different tab at the top in Paytm. So it was very easy, because they could figure out what they have to do. It was very easy for them to interact with Paytm versus with the MyTel app. What I did is I introduced this particular thing, shake your phone, to get exclusive offer. So what happened, I was working at Snapdeal, and then I learned there, right? They had this particular gamified experience of shaking the phone to see the offer at Snapdeal. I tried to introduce the same here. People kind of liked this idea, and then we had a TVC campaign as well, wherein you shake the phone and to get the offer, and it really helped a lot actually. From 6%, it went to 30% actually in a month's time. And the traction of recharge any numbers, right? So recharge any number, if you see, because you have already had all added accounts of your, you never scroll and discover a recharge any number was there as well. So what I did is I plugged, and then you already know that these are my added accounts, right? So you don't have to see that again and again. So what I did is recharge any number I placed with this design, recharge any number at the top of the screen, okay, before even the added account. So that increased the visibility of recharge any number, and the traction was from 10% to 27% in this case. Then we came up with 3, in fact, in 4 months time, we came up with this particular design, this design of Fatal app. So if you see, we have got home, recharge, bill pay at the top, very top. Not only that, with this design here as well. So it also wanted to introduce this wallet in their app, And if you see here at the top, we kind of introduced the wallet with this design as well, to that, it gets the visibility. And this design, if we change the offer into the banner here at the top. And then if you see the card, so earlier there was no visibility of your account details, so it was a flipper. If you see your account balance, and it is transformed into the data balance. So it used to be a flipper actually for a moment. So if you stay on the app for a moment, then it will the account balance will flip into the data balance after a while. So that was slightly painful because people didn't pay a lot of attention to that transformation. So what I did is introduce this particular card. So this is your your account card, your primary account card. There is no sense of primary account here, but this gives you more real estate on the face, and people can easily understand this is my account balance. And because a lot of requests used to come about this, that what is my account balance, so upfront, your primary account gets that real estate. So if you see your number is at the top, your account balance and data balance is mentioned after that. And then the way people used to interact with this particular interface, that people will click on this, go to they will discover the pack they want to recharge with, and then click on the payment mode selection, and then interact with it. So it was like five step process, figuring out again, 2-step process for figuring out the exact plan they want to recharge with. And then they have to search and all actually, or scroll the entire list view. Here what had happened, what I did try to do based on their usage. Okay, so they based on the pattern of your recharge, we introduced the plans. So if you have a habit of recharging to 50 rupees, which is full talk time, so let's put that particular trigger point at the first in the at the screen. A data recharge. So if you are used to a 600 MB 2G or 3G data recharge, put it at the very first on the screen. There was this 100 rupee recharge concept a lot. So the maximum traction was maximum number of people used to recharge for 100 rupee. That came from data. So because if it was super important, let's put it at the screen. Even if they want to recharge it 100 rupees, they will do that, and that has to be a first trigger point at the screen. And in case you want to recharge it any other amount, customizable amount, you can click here, and then it will take you to the enter amount screen, and then you can recharge with it. So, and then manage your account. So if you want to go and recharge or see the balance in detail, you can anyway do that. So these are the few things. And then if you want to see the best offers, you can also click the best offer related to your account. So these are the offers for overall app, irrespective of what kind of, if you have got what kind of user you are. But if you want to see the best offers related to your primary account, you can click and do that. And then you have, let's say you have added accounts for your father, brother, your wife. So all those things will show up here. So that is how it is. And then there could be some introductory feature which gets the real estate at the bottom. So it will have an iconography, some text, and then call to action of a redeem. So that's how we structured the layout with the new app. And this would have a maximum of 4 to 5 banners. With this introduction, within 3 months time, what happened? The downloading from 6 million to 10 million, around 3.5 months. Revenue increased from 900 million to 1.2 billion, in rupees, in 3 months time. And then the rating, right? The rating, we also worked on the rating screen in a way, but yeah, the rating start from 3.2 star rating to an average of 4.3 star, overall 4 star actually. But yeah, in this particular in 3 months, it was 4.3 star. So yeah, that kind of transformation, we were able to do. Then what happened? there were a lot of existing issues we figured out this particular design. The issue was that people used to hardly interact with this particular offer, so they would go to one or two or three maximum banners at the top, and again this was still okay, but then there are a lot of other features. Okay, so when this success happened, right, so when you're successful, everybody wants to relate with you, right? So this was primarily for the telco business side of things, but then there is a lot of departments at Airtel. Okay, there's a postpaid department. There is a lot of department who started coming to us, and they wanted a real estate. Okay, so they wanted a primary real estate to show that offer, and that would, with this sort of layout, we could just accommodate their request in the banner form or in this style form. That was one of the issue. And the other issue was with interaction of this banner, people would hardly interact with third banner and then may not go beyond that. Apart from that, what happened, this this tile, right, this card layout was very dull because it had this iconography and this content which people hardly read in India. And interacting with this card was very hard for user to, because it didn't give out much detail, or it didn't give out a right sort of contrast between the different cards. So there wasn't what is a fixation point of anywhere in the entire design apart from the first two cards. So what I did is I introduced this particular thing wherein we kind of shortened the card size with the offer so that you always get to see the next one, which if you add more color contrast and character to it, it would it would increase the traction. Not only that, if you see the cards here, uh, tried creating different size of card, adding different contrast to it. Earlier what was there, I mean, it was all the tiles placed next to each other. There wasn't a categorization or character added to it. So what I did is I started adding a segregation to it. So it's called more accounts. It will say spotlight of the month, or special features, or trending now, so which kind of started getting traction to each individual card, which which helped a lot to get attraction. Okay, so yeah, so this is how and when this buy new product was one of the card at the bottom, and people, so when you click on that, then you discover what kind of product you want to buy, and then further, so it was a 3 or 4 step process. What I did is this discovery, put it up front at the top. So you want, if you want to buy a mobile my mobile services, or you want to buy a DTH number, DTH services, or you want to buy a data internet connection, so everything is placed at the top. Or if you want to, let's say, explore services like family share, a name tune, all those things, so this could be a different category altogether. We partially implemented this, but couldn't do that totally, because there was a team which was working on the payment bank, which they were not able to achieve the desired result. Then it came to us, and because there was a election in Punjab and UP that point in time, and Prime Minister was supposed to release the first payment bank in India. So with that pressure, I was given that particular project, and we kind of pulled that out in a 1 month's time. So yeah, but then we had another chance to it, so we rethought about it, and then this is how the new Airtel app was supposed to look like. It's not currently exactly, it's not exactly the way it is, but because I left, and I don't know what happened in the team, but I designed this layout, and then I left Airtel and moved to Freshworks. But yeah, this is what my the new layout was all about. So you don't get to that. It is more contextual. So if you are, let's say, roaming, we will not show you. So what the issue with this particular design was, or this design was, we used to we used to give you all sort of notifications irrespective of, what you are subscribed to. If I'm a postpaid guy, if I'm a prepaid guy, I'll still get a notification of a postpaid or a DTH. But here I have, we were just trying to give an option to the end user that, customize, your experience. And if you want to, and be it contextual. So if you are on a roaming, we'll give you this notification card sort of layout very much at the top. And if you're, let's say you're traveling, and it is required you to initiate a roaming, we'll tell you that, yeah, you are in Calcutta and you have 20% off on the roaming for you. So something of that sort, which can enhance your experience. And if you see the earlier card layout, this is the introduction of the new card. So, you have got a data balance in case your data is, your bill is due immediately, you can just, it will show in a red. So it just added more character to the layout, and you can interact with it. If you subscribe to a movie which is coming right now, it will show you there as well that this movie is gonna play. So all those things, having different businesses all together. For the this 100 MB recharge, right? So if you have like a data, a talk time, or so now there's an introduction of a full talk time, which is an infinity recharge, right? So mostly things are dependent on data, right? So how could I create an experience wherein everything is shown, and then it also shows you the date and all, actually. So I'll give you more context here with the other case study of of the data balance screen. But yeah, just have a look at it. I'll come back to this again. And then you have always an option to customize your homepage. So in case you want to just have, if you don't want offers on the homepage, you can remove that. If you don't want bills, you can remove that. So customize your homepage. That was one of the options we were trying to introduce. And then, as I said, right, every department want their piece of meat. So if you see earlier, it was very hard it was very hard to accommodate every department. So what we do is we introduce a tab sort of structure. So, home is independent of everything. Then you have a payment bank, which is a, place with R. Then you have a self-care, and then offers. So we wanted to introduce even Wink music here. So we have, so this offer turned out to be a Wink music. So this is what kind of, the layout change we kind of introduced, and much more cleaner sort of layout. Then I already took you through the onboarding flow. Let me just take you through the account balance flow maybe. So this is the account balance flow wherein the original design, right? Original design used to look like this. Okay, so you have got, if there is a bill due in place, it will show at the top, and everything was like a card sort of layout, all my bills and all, actually. It didn't give us any service breakup. A lot of people used to post comment on App Store, and it was very hard to justify what kind of consumption they're having, because a lot of people used to call to the customer care and then complain. Even my cousin brother came to me and then called me and came complained me that, yeah, Airtel app sucks. I don't give, in fact he started cribbing out Airtel, that mera paisa kat liya. I don't have a clue, but I didn't made a call last night, but my my consumption is much more higher than what I expected. So all those things was there. So what I did is I transformed that into this layout. So if you see here, you amount the bill, you have been billed is at the top, and then there is a usage card. So whatever services you are subscribed to. So if you are subscribed to internet, if you subscribe to the, let's say daily internet, voice, etc., everything shows as a breakup. So you have a complete clarity on, what you're subscribed to and what your usage is. And if you see this particular line, it shows you that maybe based on the amount you have subscribed for, this is what your, if it's aligned to this line, this is what your usage should be. If you're overused, then it will completely turn into a different sort of red. So which communicates that urgency that you have overused overuse your existing balance. So yeah, as I said, information is much more predictable here. Detailed usage of front, and detailed current usage, and current the limit of your, if you see here, right, whatever your current usage limit is, it is being clearly communicated to the end user. So that helped change, transform this particular layout. So if you see this particular screen, uh, this screen is an advanced form of the same screen here. So this screen, wherein we could show you the account balance and data balance and the number of, a number of days it's been in a month. And these are like, this is called combo pack, which completes of, different sort of pack, which is communicated upfront. So yeah, any questions on this? Okay, maybe a silence is a no. Let's go to Snapdeal then. So yeah, Snapdeal. So when I joined Snapdeal, they were doing this particular iPad app, and this is how the Snapdeal app used to look like, and they were getting it done with the third party agency, and then I was like initially collaborating with them, and working out with the development team to get it built. But when we went to the CEO, he didn't like this layout because I had my own opinion on the design, because it looked like very, a sort of a sports seller platform. It was not a consumer app. eh, but anyway, that was existing solution they have in place, but the CEO didn't like it, and they wanted me to kind of work on it. So I thought maybe I could did some research around it, and they had a WAP design, WAP platform, which was a very clean design. And what I've learned from all the stakeholders, that user used to like that layout a lot, though it was still cluttered. But then what I did, I tried to transform the same layout, and then worked on the same layout, and then came up with a much more cleaner a layout here. It was just visual transformation, not a great, but yeah, not a great UX sort of design transformation. But here, if you see this page, the majority of work was done on this particular layout. So if you see, this was a product page, and the way user used to interact with this particular product page. So if you see, the information of the buy now, all the information at the top, right? So what happens in terms of interacting with this particular entire page, people will enter the size. Okay, so people will enter the size and the pin code. Enter size and pin code, and select colors. Based on that only, it will show the availability of this particular product. Okay, but here there was no mention of if you see, it is all cluttered. So I select a size, I enter the pin code here, and then it will tell me that if it is available or not. So if you see here, it's a transformation in sort of the way you interact with it. So what I did is, in fact here as well. So this is second iterations I did. So wherein pin code is placed here, color selection is placed here, size is placed here. Based on that, you will show the availability of this particular design. So this is the second iterations I did. So before then, if you see, all things were cluttered. Your buy now button is here. Your select size is here. Your pin code entry is here, and then color entry may be somewhere else. And it is all placed all over, and you don't know how to interact with it. So maybe you click on this buy now, then you will get a notification that maybe you should select the size first and select the location, and then we'll let you know if it is available in your area or not. So what I did is they made a transformation of information at the top shows up here. Then you show the pin code, the primary requirement. you show the color, and you show the size, and then it will tell you the offers which is related. And and then you can it will show, you can go and buy the particular product. There is more transformation done. So what happened, there was also a lot of things, dependent. So a lot more dependency on this particular thing. The dependencies were like, if something is available as a cash on delivery, that was not communicated here. Something is available for easy monthly installment, that was not available here. And then, if something is available for standard or next, so a lot of delivery dependencies were also available, which I initially didn't communicate it here with, but with understanding and a lot of other internal research, I could figure out that there are a lot more dependency. But how could I can transform the entire experience with all lot more information? So because these are also factors based on which the delivery matters, and which can improvise the entire experience. So that's why, if you see, all those delivery factors were placed upfront. Here, if you see, offer is just a part of it, and then you click and figure out lot more offers. What I did here is, placed a respectable, placement of offers in a card, so that it is more highlighted. So yeah, these are the transformation I try to do, and it helped a lot in terms of design. Then if you see here, so this is a place when the sellers. So there's a logic of introducing different sort of sellers. So if you say that who's the seller I want to buy this particular product from, that was not clear from here. Okay, so if let's say there are sellers which are which can give you much faster delivery, or there are sellers who can give you cash on delivery. So these were not, though information was placed there, but there isn't a proper structure or hierarchy that, how could I figure out who's the right person. So what I did is I introduced this sort of layout, when, they also wanted to introduce some more things, like something like called a brand sponsor seller and SD sponsor seller as well, because they used to pay the Snapdeal some sort of money for making them highlighted. So that information was not coming out here somehow. So then I transformed and created, different sort of filters. So in terms of tabs, so the the best was like the highest rating, which user can relate to, because if they're highly rated, I would want to interact with them first. Then there are brand sponsored and SD sellers, and then sellers who would deliver me faster. So I mean, yeah, there could be a question between there was a question anyway, would you want to get the delivery from the fastest delivery, or who has got more respectability, and I mean, in terms of respectability, is the highly rated one. So that was a question. And then we did some research around it as well. We went to a lot of other clients, sorry, customers, and we talked to them, some of the folks, and also we did a survey, and from there we figured out that people would prefer someone who had got much more reputation of giving the rights, because there was some controversy regarding some sellers adding some stones to people as well. That was one of the controversy which came in place in news that point in time. So then, from that research, we figured out that people would want to get things delivered from people who has got much more respectability in the industry. So from there, people, I mean, who has got rated more will get sorry, someone is calling me. Will hold on. Yeah, so they would want to buy the stuff from them, and not from someone who can just deliver your product faster. So yeah, so this is what it is. Then apart from that, I worked on this particular, brand transformation of Snapdeal. So if you see, this was the before sort of layout, and I kind of worked on this layout, and so the expectation from, and the feedback which I got from the stakeholders is that, this was too boring. It wasn't consistent. In fact, I was given the role to audit the entire particular app, and I figure out this all things, like, I mean, too much of content. Anyway, this was not premium look and feel. It was very inconsistent, or messaging communication was very inconsistent. Flow wise also, it was, it was not best. The groupings were not logical. I mean, offers were like placed all over the places. All those things, key features were like, missing. It was not the right, it was not completely native. So I mean, you select your product, and the payment process, right? The payment process uh, was happening on was happening on a web platform. So it was not completely native, and the communication was not quite clear. So based on those feedback, I kind of, transformed that into this sort of layout. So if you see here, it's much more whiter, cleaner. Based on the what I did with the iPad app, I try to transform that into this sort of layout, wherein, I mean, upfront there is a category based upfront offer has got a different tab altogether, a different place altogether. So here you just want to shop, and if you want to see the offer, that will go as another tab. And on the payment page, sorry, on the product page, there isn't much hierarchy there. So I mean, yeah, so if you see, a lot of real estate is like real estate with much more lesser content. So and a lot of important information about offer, and things like, as I said, based on deliveries and all, actually was very important to be placed at the top. So all this information were accommodated in a limited space, could be limited in a limited space of a real estate, so that user, if want to scroll, so even before scrolling, they can get to see very important information upfront. Then so that's one of the design transformation I did. Then I am also, so that was the time when this wearable sort of was happening. This Apple Watch and an Android Watch started happening. So we were, as a company, were more focusing on Android. So I kind of went ahead and bought a Motorola 360 watch, and then did a lot of transformation. The challenge with this Android platform was, that it didn't have a browser then. And I said, right, Snapdeal was not completely native. Snapdeal, half of it, uh, the product discovery and adding to the cart was a native experience, but then purchase payment was on a web platform. So what we could achieve with the limited time, limited time and resources, is that because we didn't want to spend a lot of resources on this particular innovation thing, so we decided that we'll do a voice interaction based experience. If you say someone can talk on the app, and let's say you want to buy a mobile phone, so as soon as he sees mobile phone, he can land on the a list page of mobile phone. And he can keep on scrolling up and down, and then discover new items. And once he horizontally starts scrolling, he can he can see the product detail here, and then he can click and like and shortlist it, and then he can further go and purchase that on the mobile or web platform. That's a broken experience, but then anyway, due to the limitations of the platform, we couldn't do much. Any question on this? Hello, am I audible?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So yes, let's go to the next thing. This is a fresh desk bot. So yeah. Mm, when I joined Freshdesk, this is how the bot platform used to look like. It was very cluttered. And then I came from a consumer product background. A lot of technology I didn't understood, technology term I didn't understood. I didn't know how to configure an API and what would it would require to configure a particular API, how to configure a bot. I could understand, because I have worked in a chat sort of platform. So from there, I could understand, how a chat platform would look like, but I didn't understood how could someone would go and set up the chat for a consumer. So and that is what I kind of worked upon. So generally what happens when you the way the bot interacts, right? So bot interacts in a two-way. So they would either send you a message to their customers, or they will ask a question, because that is how you configure the flow. And that is how the people interact with the bot. So as a bot configure, let's say I am a business owner, and I may have a different line of communication. So the way I want to interact with my customer may be different from what the other person communicates to their customer. So a understanding that language was very important. B, if I'm designing for consumers, so the challenge here with this particular bot platform, which I can address you here, is that I did some interviews with the pre-sales guy and client as well. The challenge was this was a too complicated bot for them actually. Why? Because they wanted they saw that this is a very uh, complicated thing. It required a lot of learning. They couldn't configure a lot of things themselves. It was very technical for someone who's a common man, who's not technology learned. The nomenclature of all the sections, all the actions was very complicated. They couldn't understand. And as a layman, right, it was very hard even for a lot of people, a business owner. It was very hard for them to code and test the API. Okay, it was not easy experience to configure the API. The issue with the pre-sales people was that they used to spend 4 to 6 hours daily on existing clients. So they want what their expectation was that they could handle new clients, so that it will be addition to their portfolio, and they will they'll get more bonuses, which they were not able to do with this current platform. And also because it required a lot of training, so they had to train a lot of people on a daily basis because of that. So it requires a lot of training to operate this particular part. So even a lot of people within a year also of usage couldn't operate with particular bot product. How I transformed it in this particular. So if you see this particular product here, these are like placed here and there. It didn't had a proper structure. And as I said, the way people operate, right? So what happens, as I said, the communication of a bot, right? The communication of a bot is configured in a two mode. You want to send a message to a bot wants to send, let's say, introductory message to the person whom it is interacting with, or it would ask a question. So let's say, hey, how are you? Or welcome to this platform. What do you expect me to do actually? So let's say, for example, take a scenario of a PVR cinema. So PVR cinema would ask, as soon as you land on the PVR cinemas, it will welcome you, and then it will send you a message with a question that, what exactly you are here for. Do you want to buy tickets for the movie hall? If you say yes, then which location, which locality, which city, all those things, and then which movie, which date, etc. could be a subsequent question. So configuring the entire experience for that would be a challenge. The other challenge is that how does user, so when a bot communicates with the user, right? What kind of configuration he provides. So if my replies, right, if the bot asks a question, right, what is the expected form of reply? Would the expected form of reply would be a limited set of responses? So let's say if this question has got a response up to 4 or 6, I would configure a button in that case. I mean, similar to if you think of a form, right? How do you configure a form? What kind of options you want to give to a, for your end user in a form? Do you want to configure this particular response in terms of button, or if that is a drop down because it has got enormous content to it? If this response requires a carousel format which has got image and text aligned to it, or if that is a simple open text file. Okay, or do you want to ask your question to provide a rating? There was also a component called content list. I mean, that's a different structure specific for French tests, so let's not go there. But yeah, this is how you would want to ask a bot would want to ask a question to the end user, and based on that your questions and the responses are being configured. And so, if I'm talking about a smaller sort of setup box, there could be much more complicated experience, use cases. And how do you configure those complicated use cases? So maybe you want to group the set of questions front together, and then based on this selection, you may want to further, take the user to different flows. So it could be in terms of flows, in terms of question, and maybe you can also have multiple bots created for you. So maybe you can run parallel bots in parallel different countries based on different languages, or you can optimize your bot to set the same bot with different languages within the same country. So let's say India, which has got 22 official languages. So maybe you want to operate the same bot in different languages because the offers may be similar. But in different countries like India and America, in America, my offers or my use cases could be completely different. So maybe I would want to, may want to run different parallel bots in that case, or even in India. So maybe in a festive season, because maybe as a consumer, the way I operate, I may want to, create a certain set of feature for a, for a festival season. So my bot experience is going to be temporarily different. So I may want to run different versions of a bot as well. So the way architecture of this bot functions is that I can run multiple bot. Within that, I may want to run different version of a bot. Within that, a bot can have multiple flows. And how do you operate with that particular, how do you configure multiple flows? So if you see here, these are different multiple, flows of a bot, and anyway you can click and then create new flow. So as of now here, if you see, it has got 45 different flows as a bot, and then you can keep on configuring the configuring the different conversations or different questions, as you said. And then once you configure the entire questions, then you want to link the flow. So maybe your first question may trigger the third question, okay, or maybe it parallelly goes to the next question. So let's say if you see here, right, welcome to Satyam Cinemas, I'm here to book help you book the ticket. That's the first question. The second question the bot will ask is, how would what would you like to explore? So that's the next question. So that is how subsequently the flows are, the questions are built. And then based on this particular questions, the next flows will be shown to the end user. So a configuration of those flows has to be shown. So yeah, that is how we kind of configure the bot. So once the bot is configured, then basis maybe there could be much more complicated use cases wherein based on one condition you want to operate this bot with, or multiple conditions as well. So let's say a typical use case would be how do you let's say you want to configure a bot for a matrimonial site. Okay, or let's say you want to, yeah, maybe matrimonial site. So if you see here in India, for matrimony, right, for marriage, the age of a female is 18. However, if you're a male, your age has to be 21. So in order to, on an onboarding flow, for example, right, if you ask whether a person is a male or a female, if someone is a male, then ask them to enter the age. If he enters the age as 21, then show the message that yeah, you are eligible for a marriage. If he sees a male and his age, sorry, if he is a male and if age enters more than less than 21, then he is not eligible. So let's say, maybe if he enters 18, right? So maybe we can say that you are eligible for voting, but you are not eligible for marriage. Similarly, if you want to create a bot for a restaurant, let's say a bar, and you want to order things online, then if you in India, it is necessary for you to have a age as 25 to consume alcohol. So if you enter your age as 18 or 21, let's say for example, so you are eligible for a marriage, but you are not eligible for consuming alcohol since you are not 25. So if there are different conditions, how could I go ahead and configure different flows based on different use cases? So this could be addressed within your bots. And then we kind of did some usability testing as well once the bot is done. And there are a lot of learnings, likes and dislikes, which we could get from the users, from the users we tested. I'm not naming the user anyway, but yeah, generally it is preferred to test your features with at least six people, and then I'm just listing out the learnings which I got from the users, that how would I add the first flow that was still confusing for them. And it had a lot of confusion too, because adding the first flow, right, it has a lot of confusion, and user suffers from the loss of content configured, thus losing productive hours. These are some of the feedback I got from my users. So anyway, I'm not gonna get into detail, but yeah, you can test and evaluate your solutions like this, and then you can create a recommendation for the short-term solutions and long-term solutions. Any questions?
Now, I think no questions anymore. A lot of people have had probably prior engagements that they wanted to leave for.
Okay.
So that's why they left. Rahul, do you have any questions? You may please shoot.
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay. Okay. All right then. I think we are at the end of the meetup. Kishore, you have anything more to share?
No, yeah, that's it. I thought if there are questions, I can address that.
Yeah, I think probably we'll get in touch with them again and have a question, probably like a list in case they have any.
Sure.
And we can probably post the meetup. We can send that to you.
Sure.
And
sure.
thank you so much for the awesome session. It was very detailed and highly technical, actually. I think this would help definitely once you send the PPT, you know.
Sure. You have a recording, right?
Oh yeah, we do.
Yeah. So I mean that will suffice.